I want to thank everybody for subscribing. I want to thank everybody for watching a ton of my videos. Um, Trying to hit that 4,000 hours, and we're getting closer and closer each day. So I want to thank you ahead of time. I want to thank the people who are helping me out, who are watching the videos, who are commenting. I also want to help you, the future viewer who is watching, and all that. That being said, here are my thoughts, my personal thoughts on the first million words you write. Okay. So, first off, a little bit of background. I know I look like I'm 21. I'm actually 56. I had my first short story published in 1988 as a senior in high school. So I've been in this publishing game 30 years, 40, almost 40 years. Goodness, almost 40 years. Last 15, I have been a full-time author, able to make a living writing these goofy stories. So I also did a video where you can see I write about 400,000 or more words a year. So I've definitely hit the million words. Um, so let's just say in the last 15 years, I've written 400,000 words a year. So that would be about 6 million words I've written just in the last 15 years. So probably close to 10 million words I've written, somewhere in that range. It's a lot of words. That being said, again, this is my opinion. So we're living in a world where you could literally sit down right now and you can write a story. You write 5,000 word, 10, 100,000, whatever. You can sit down, write a story, and immediately just put it up on Amazon. Boom, it's up. I make my own. I made my own cover. I don't need editors. My writing is perfect. I don't need beta readers. I just put the damn thing up. And there you go. Now you have a story. It's your first 50,000 words you've ever written is now a book, and it's now live on Amazon to make money. And while that is exciting, it's also bothersome to someone like me who's been in this. It's almost like you're a musician growing up in the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s, the aughts, and you're playing clubs, you're grinding out, you're getting better as a musician. The band around you is getting better as musicians. You're coming up with some ideas, you're putting things together, and then you start writing those hit songs. You know, your first dozen songs are going to be garbage. That's just what it is. You guys are trying to find yourselves. You guys are 16, 17 years old, and you're playing in mom's garage, and eventually you get better. Okay. If you have the talent and you have the drive, you're going to get better, and you're going to put those out. Then comes along like American Idol and those types of shows. Okay. And maybe not a huge knock on them, because maybe some of those people have been grinding away for years and years, but it's the ones that are like 16, 17 years old who have never been in a recording studio, and they sing for their family kind of thing. And hey, you got a great voice. I get it, but experience is where it comes into, not a package. Okay. So now, all that being said, as a writer, I wrote a ton of stories as a teenager in the 80s. I wrote a ton of stories as a 20-something in the 1990s. And a bunch of those stories were published. Looking back, they were awful. We published in zines. I did a video about zines. Go look that up. And I am so glad that those stories are gone, long gone. Like, I don't even have copies of maybe 100 short stories. And I'm fine with that. I am 100% fine with that. There are some that survive that I put in my short story collection I put out in November every year. Really just to show you how how bad I was, and how I've hopefully progressed, and I'm hopefully a better writer. So again, it was practice. You know, I've read a ton of different articles, and I don't know who said, It's in dispute who really said write your first million words. I always just said, oh, Stephen King said that, but it's a long way before that other authors have said this, and I agree with it. It's practice. It's like, hey, I want to be a guitar player, and I'm going to pick up a guitar, and I'm not immediately going to play a ton of songs. Yeah, I might learn "Smoke on the Water" in about 10 minutes. That's not all that hard, but to learn intricate songs, to learn to play with a band, to learn all the ins and outs, and to learn the guitar, the pickups, the what's the right amp for me to use, what pedals do I use, all these different things. Okay, you learn that with experience. You learn that through time. You learn that by playing a million hours or whatever the musician equivalent is. Okay, I gotta practice for a million hours until I'm proficient and good at this. It's the same with writing. You just get better if you're good, if you have talent. There's a lot of people who are like, I'm just going to write a book and blah blah blah. If you want to do this for a living and you are a writer and you've always been a writer, for me, I've always wanted to be a writer. 12 years old, I pick up a Dean Koontz book and I fall in love, and I'm like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And I didn't. I went through many years of not being able to. I was in my 40s before I was able to do this full time. So looking at it that way, I'm glad I had the 80s and the 90s to just write stuff that there was no way to just put it up online. There was no way that it was going to be out there evergreen forever. Those were stories that you have to write in the beginning, and they're going to be garbage. When I'm mentoring authors, new authors coming up, and I just say, just write whatever you want to write. You don't have a brand, you don't have a career yet. Just write. Enjoy writing. Enjoy getting those words out, but don't be so quick to just get published. Don't be so quick that I got to get stuff out there. I got to start making money. Because the stuff you're writing now, you're going to be embarrassed by 5 years from now. Hopefully in 5 years from now, you're like, man, I am way better than I was 5 years ago. I look at some of my stuff and I'm like, this stuff is awful. Okay, my writing is awful. It was the experience of writing. It's the experience of reading. It's the experience of talking shop with other authors. It's life experience. It's all of it together that makes you a better writer, makes you hopefully a better person. So for me, that first million words, yeah, I am a firm believer that you have to experience the struggle of, and I don't care if you just write short stories. I don't care if you write novellas. I don't care if you just write novels. I don't care if you write a mix of all those things. I don't care if you're a lunatic and you write 150,000 word novel. As long as you write another one, you're not going to sell that first time author coming out. You wrote like a horror book, 150,000 words. Nobody knows here. You know what? It was good practice. Put it off to the side. Trunk it. That it's probably 5 years from now. You hope you look back and you go, man, that thing is awful. But I can cannibalize a couple of ideas from it, or I really like this character. Let me write something else. That's for me. Again, this is all my opinion because the name of the channel is Armand's Opinion. So that being said, yeah, I would not worry so much as a new author. I would not worry. And I'm not saying like new author, like, oh, you're 20. I'm talking people in their 50s that are 40s, 30s that are starting out and going, you know what? I have a book in me. I want to write this book, but I want to do this as a career. I'm not talking about the people, the weekend warrior. I want to write a book just to write a book and sell it to like 3 or 4 people. This is a fun hobby. This is something I do on the side because I want something else to do besides, go to my 9-to-5 job kind of thing. So for me, this is my career. This is what I do for a living. So I need to continue to write and write and write. And I've hit that million words. I hit that million words a long time ago. Yet, like I said in the beginning here, 10 years maybe, or 10 million words maybe I've written in my career. And you know what? I feel like I keep getting better. I feel like I keep not that it's getting easier, but I'm understanding the process, or as I like to say, the process. I'm understanding that a lot better now. I'm understanding what needs to be done. I'm understanding how to get from point A to point B. It's very exciting as a new author to finish something, to show yourself. I don't know why I just whistled there. To show yourself that yeah, I can put this idea down and I can finish it, and it's a complete thought. It's a complete idea. That is a really neat thing. So once you get over that bucket list, first item is finish. Just finish a story. Doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Just finish it. Then you start looking to go, you know what? I'm going to finish a second, a third, a fourth, and you just keep writing and you just keep doing it and you just keep getting better. You learn from your mistakes. I've made every mistake, every mistake in this business there is to make. So I get it. Okay. I look at it and I go, yeah, I've screwed up so many times, but I've learned from hopefully all of those screw ups, all of those mistakes. I've learned that this is how you do it. This is what makes sense. So there you go. I mean, I could beat a dead horse and keep saying it. And if you're a writer and you're like, you know what, I'm writing, this is my first book, this is my first short story, this is my first whatever, and I'm going to get out there and I'm going to start making money, and you do it, that's awesome. Great. That means hopefully means you have a lot of talent. That hopefully means that you are well ahead of the game than I was in 1988 when I got my first short story published. Kudos to you that you're doing it. I'm not saying, especially in this day and age, that you're not like, well, I guess I'm just gonna write a million bad words and then throw it all away, and then that means I'm a good writer at that point. No, we all have our trajectory, our character arc as a writer, and so I think you need to get there, but you need to be honest with yourself. You need to look at your work. You need to have other people read your work, and you need to take criticism. You need to get a thick skin. You need to realize that not everything you write is going to be phenomenal. Okay. But you're learning from that. You're learning from, hey, here's my story. Read this. What's wrong with it? Oh, I'm glad you like it. I don't care. I want to know what's wrong with it. And you want that feedback, because you'd rather that one person read it and didn't like it rather than a million potential readers who are going to read it and not like it and be turned off and never buy another book from you, never read another short story from you, whatever. So in closing, the bottom line, do what you want to do. I'm glad that all my stuff, 20 years of writing, is not available. I'm glad that you can't see those awful stories, for the most part, that I wrote back in the day, because they were bad, because I didn't have the experience, because at 16 and 17 years old, what did I know about the world? In my 20s, what did I know about the world? So I think a lot of it comes down to you. Don't be impatient. Write a bunch of stories, read a ton of stories, not only in your genre, but other things, and really, learn from what you're reading, learn from what you're writing, and you just want to be a better writer. Every day you want to write, you want to learn something about yourself. You want to learn something about your writing. You want to read something from another book and go, you know what, this is a phenomenal line. How can I write a line like this? How can I set a mood, a tone? How can I create this kind of character? You know what I mean? And I think that's the bottom line. There's authors I read now, and I'm just like, I can't write today, because this is just so. I'm reading Don Winslow. I'm like, this is just so damn good. He's just so good at creating characters and at writing stories, and it's not all a bunch of big words. It's just a gorgeously written story. And as a writer, I look and I go, I can't compete with this. Mentally, I can't compete with this. And so I'm not trying to copy what he's doing. I'm just trying to get that feel. I'm trying to write a story that somebody's going to go, wow, this is powerful. And I say because it's because of Don Winslow. Okay. So keep writing, keep shining, keep doing what you got to do. Keep hitting the subscribe button. Keep watching my videos. I appreciate it. I really do. Just in case I haven't said this on 100 other videos, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time, I go live on YouTube Live, and I write for about 2 hours. Mostly it's just chatting in the chat room, let's be honest. But so I get some words. I got to write every day. So a lot of times Tuesday and Thursday and maybe on a Sunday, I'm also diving in writing. So every day but Saturday, I am writing. And so come join me. Come hang out. Come let me know your story. Let me know where you are in your writing career. And let's be friends. And also make a comment on the videos, watch the videos, on and on and on. So if you have any ideas for future writing related videos, I do these every Wednesday and every Sunday. I have a nice list of them, but I always want to add more and more videos to the list. My goal is 2 a week. If this list gets crazy, I might do 3 a week. Who can say? So check that out. And just thank you. Thank you for watching this. I greatly appreciate it.